Alrighty there, urban rivals. This is a Mango coming at you with a brand new review for your perusal. We have a new release this week, and it's a pretty good one. I'm excited for a couple of these cards. Should be a lot of fun. I'm gonna do things a little bit differently today. Normally, or I used to read out the things, and then I just decided to go to White Dragon's preset and look off that. But today I'm going to try something out because I've learned a trick a while back about some cards and their pictures. So I'm going to see if I can share at least the results of that trick with you guys today. But enough about me and my changing up of my routine, and more about the cards. We shall start off with Bertha. Bertha is a 7/2 2-star. Power and damage +1 for the freaks. First off, I looked at her and thought, that's a pretty solid card. 7/2, and then the power and damage +1 is just cake. That makes her 8/3, which is kind of like a mini Olga. So there's nothing at all wrong with that. But their 2-stars have a huge competition with Esmeralda, who has great dead pill potentiality. Wonald, who's good dead pilling also, and he loses. You dead pill with Esmeralda to win, and then you dead pill with Wonald, and you lose. His Wonald's plus health goes great with the freaks. Minus health, they're poison. They also have, I want to say Tula? No, that's stupid. Hula. Well, not even sure. They also have another 2-star that has a poison 2, minimum of 3 as her ability. So she's stable against SOB. So there's lots of competition, but I would say she beats out everybody but Esmeralda. I think she's better than Wonald. I think she's better than all the other 2-stars they have. They also had another 2-star who's a 5/3 -3 opponent power minimum of 3. She's pretty good, but Bertha's all around more solid because against SOA she's a 7/2, and that's a great card. However, Esmeralda still queen of the freaks 2-stars, so I'm going to give her an 8/10. Good card. I would use her. I just don't have her yet. We're going to move on. Oh no! Here, let me show you guys this something. I have been able to get the full artwork just here for you guys. This is Bertha. And actually, I think I'm gonna... I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do this, but... Alright. Let's go back to Shirley. And actually, let's go here so you guys can look at Shirley's beautiful drill and pick. Shirley is a 6/6 4-star for the rescue with the ability of -6 opponent damage, minimum of 4. Her ability is just like Travis LD's. Pretty much useless, because most cards aren't going to have damage over 7, even 5-stars. The good 5-stars are going to have at most 8 damage, and usually 7, if not less. So her ability is very, very overrated. See, that -6 opponent damage, you never get that. If you go up against say a 5-star who has 7 damage, that's 3 opponent damage. Her ability turns into a -3 opponent damage, minimum of 4. And that's a really bad ability. So don't let the -6 opponent damage fool you. In very rare cases can you use that, and it's even rarer that you're able to get Shirley against the card that you want. So, that being said, her ability is really, really kind of terrible. With other options in the Rescue Clan, like Carrie, who's Courage SOB, and then Glosh, who's Stop, +3 power, Shirley here has just too much competition to be put into my first up cards. However, I think she would probably knock out that one other 4-star for them who has support +1 life and a 7/2. Her name, I believe, is I think it starts with an L. I'm gonna have to look this up. Her name is... No, it's Susie. I think she'll beat out Susie. because Susie's just way too bad against SOA. So Shirley is maybe the third 4-star that I'm going to use. Some people may even use Goob over her. There's also Benson. There's also Gordon, and there's also there's just a lot of 4-stars. There's also Scott LD, but I think she beats out Scott LD. Scott LD is a 7-4 minus 2 opponent damage minimum of 2, and I think she'll beat out Scott LD if you're going for a 4-star DR. But and she's not a bad card. She'll fit in well with cards like Cliff, and if I guess if it's not a heavy SOA week and you want to run Carrie, Shirley, and Cliff as your big hitters, that's perfectly fine. So she's third place for the 4-stars, maybe third or fourth. I'll give her a 7 out of 10. That kind of corresponds. It's kind of how I usually rate things, but 7 out of 10 for Shirley. She's not bad. Her ability is really kind of useless, but a 6 and a 6 for the rescue is not usually a bad thing. Go back over here. Let us go on to Harriger. Harriger is a 7 and 6 4-star minus 1 opponent pills, minimum of 1. Geist have some pill manipulation in Elk, who's a defeat minus 1 opponent pill, a minimum of 2. So they kind of have a very, very weak pill manipulation thing going on. His stats of 7 and 6 are just amazing for a 4-star, and a 4-star in a SOA clan, it's really awesome. Geist have actually been known, however, to have great stat cards, as in Leviathan, who's a 6 and 5, just a downgrade from this card, and a 3-star. And then also they have Glorg, who has a really bad, backlash, but he still is a 7 and an 8 for a 5-star. So Geist have very, very solid base stats. And this one's ability helps out, because 7 power generally, it hurts and it's hard to win with 7 power. But he does have a slight pill manipulation, which is great. Pill manipulation is never bad. I would have rather, had a minus 7 opponent attack, minimum, 3 or something, but that would be way overpowered. So the 1 opponent pills is just, you can overpill a little bit. Definitely not as scary as Drahira was, but then again, Drahira's banned, of course. Methane is a 7 and a 7 and may work better in some decks than this card. But overall, I can see this card being a number 1 pick for a while. Annibal's Revenge is sometimes kind of hard to fit in with other Revenges like Mock and Wardum, so he sometimes falls out. Jack's LD is just too low powered, and his attack's too low to be considered a lot of the time. And that new poison card just really sucks. So, besides Methane, all the other 4-stars for the Geist are banned. Trahira, Toro, and I may be missing 1 or 2 of the 4-star for the Geist, but this guy is really needed for the Geist. The staff just love making 4-star for the Geist that are awesome, and then banning them. They had Toro for a very long time. Then they banned him and made Drahira, and then Drahira was still just ridiculously awesome, and so they banned Drahira, and now that they have given us Harriger, and this card may not. I don't think this card's ever going to get perma-banned, but I have a feeling players might ban this card from time to time, just because it's solid and it works well with the rest of the clan. So I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10. He could be better. He's going to be weak against a lot of the heavier attack manipulation clans, and he's going to be hurt so badly against the good stop cards like Karen and like Karen, Muntindon. He's not a really good one, but he's one that I'm thinking off the top of my head. Karen, I keep saying Karen because she's really good. And then All-Stars also are very good against these guys. Flinch, he's a great stop. Flinch Karen probably the most common stop cards. But as you see, that's not really a flaw. He's in the Geist clan, of course he's going to have that flaw. It's just something to think about. It's going to be very good against other Geist clan members or other Roots members, which is very good. But 7 power is not going to win battles against Bangers, Uluwatu, All-Star, Montana, and Rescue. Against, say, uppers, that 1 pill will probably help bridge the gap. In Sentinels and Junks, that 1 pill is right there. You're not going to lose very much. But he's going to be pretty weak. And as I said, Methane has more damage and might fit better in other decks. So I'm going to give this guy 9 out of 10. Those few small cons are the only thing that keeps him from being a 10 out of 10. Because, 7 is 6 for a 4-star as base stats. It's literally the most solid thing you can have. And on top of that, he doesn't have a backlash ability like the Berserk 7 and 6. He doesn't have courage like the Vortex Exodus. And he has a pill manipulation. Slight, very slight, but every little thing helps. So 9 out of 10 for him. I'm going to move on to Thaumi, he is a 6 and 4, 3-star for the rescue with SOB. Just like Krieger was meant to replace Drahira, I have a feeling Thaumi was meant to replace Lahan. Unfortunately, while Krieger does a good job of replacing Drahira without being as overpowered as Drahira was, Thaumi does poor justice to the legacy of Lahan. Lahan was an 8 and a 2 SOB. It was ridiculously how awesome. All they did was they took 2 of Lahan's power and added it to damage, and then gave him an extra star. Nowhere near as good as a replacement. And also, they made him a 3-star. As I mentioned before, there's Flinch, there's also Valentina, there's also Martha. In mono, Martha's really good. That attack manipulation is just really scary. Also know in mono, Sentinel doesn't have John, and he's really good. And if you still want power, you have Katja, and she's just as good as John, and doesn't have to be in mono. And then they have Melvin, who's a great DR, somewhat expensive. Then they also have Skinner, who has some damage and just as much attack manipulation as Martha, and I don't need to go on. They have way too many better 3-stars than Thaumi. Maybe if they'd made Thaumi a 7 and a 4 SOB, I could see Thaumi being a good replacement for Lahan, and not all that overpowered. But as it is, his 6 power and just SOB makes me think that the staff, where it was just adding another SOB to this clan so people wouldn't complain that the staff had banned all the SOB in the Sentinel. So I'm going to rate him a 4 out of 10. There are 6 and 4s with SOA in other clans that are much better, and SOA is much better ability than SOB. There's nothing good about this card. Very subpar. Way too much competition. Yeah, 4 out of 10. This is it for me today. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And this is Mango UE signing out.